Hello friends, welcome to School Guide. Today's session we'll discuss Class 8 Science, Chapter number 4, Metals and Nonmetals. Let's begin with the NCERT Solutions. Which of the following can be beaten into thin sheets? There are 4 options given: zinc, phosphorus, sulfur and oxygen. Now, beaten into thin sheets or malleability, it's a property of metals, and in the given options only zinc is the metal, the remaining 3 are non-metals. So the answer here is zinc. Which of the following statements is correct? All metals are ductile, all non-metals are ductile, generally metals are ductile, some non-metals are ductile. Now, ductility means the ability to be drawn into thin wires, and that is the property of metals. We have studied that non-metals are not ductile. So option B and option D are incorrect. Coming to option A, although metals are ductile, we cannot generalize it. We cannot say that all metals are ductile. There are some metals which are not ductile. So option A is also incorrect. So the correct option is option C. Generally metals are ductile. Fill in the blanks. Phosphorus is very dash non-metal, reactive. Usually reactivity is a feature of metals, but phosphorus is unique in the sense that it is a reactive non-metal. You cannot leave it in open air. It readily reacts with oxygen in the air. So phosphorus is usually stored in water. Metals are dash conductors of heat and dash. Metals are always good conductors. They are good conductors of heat and electricity. Iron is dash reactive than copper. Here you have to say more or less. Of course, iron is more reactive than copper, and iron displaces or replaces copper from its solution. Metals react with acids to produce dash gas. Whenever metals react with acid, you get the metal salt and hydrogen gas. Let's have a look at this chart. Whenever metals react with acid, you get the salt and hydrogen. When some metals react with base, only some metals react with base, and when that happens, again you get a metal salt and hydrogen gas is released. And when metals react with water, you are getting metal hydroxide, and again hydrogen gas will be released. True or false questions. Generally non-metals react with acids. That is false. Generally non-metals do not react with acids. Sodium is a very reactive metal, which is true. Sodium is very reactive and it reacts vigorously with oxygen and water. Copper displaces zinc from zinc sulfate solution. Again, it is false because copper is less reactive than zinc, so it cannot remove or displace zinc from zinc sulfate solution. Coal can be drawn into wires. False. Coal is a non-metal and it is not ductile, so it cannot be drawn into wires. Some properties are listed in the following table. Distinguish between metals and non-metals on the basis of these properties. Appearance. Metals are shiny or lustrous, whereas non-metals are dull. Hardness. Metals are hard, whereas non-metals are soft and brittle. Malleability means the ability to be beaten into thin sheets. Metals are malleable, non-metals are non-malleable. Means metals can be beaten into thin sheets, whereas non-metals cannot be beaten into thin sheets. Ductility means the ability to be drawn into wires. Again, metals are ductile, whereas non-metals are non-ductile. Metals can be drawn into wires, non-metals cannot be drawn into wires. Heat conduction. Metals are good conductors of heat, whereas non-metals are poor conductors of heat. Conduction of electricity. Metals are good conductors of electricity, non-metals are poor conductors of electricity. Now this table you can also use as the difference in the physical properties of metals and non-metals. Give reasons for the following. Aluminium foils are used to wrap food items. There are 2 main reasons why aluminium foils are used to wrap food items. The first reason is that aluminium is a malleable metal, means it is easy to be beaten into thin sheets and it is easy to make foil out of aluminium. And second thing is that aluminium foil is safe to use. They do not react with food or contaminate the food. So it is safe to wrap food using aluminium foil. Immersion rods for heating liquids are made up of metallic substances. The reason is that metals are good conductors of heat and electricity. So they easily get heated when electricity is passed through them, and thereby heating the liquid in which it is immersed. Copper cannot displace zinc from its salt solution. The reason is that copper is less reactive than zinc, and less reactive metals cannot displace a more reactive metal from its solution. Sodium and potassium are stored in kerosene. The reason is that both sodium and potassium are highly reactive metals. They react vigorously with air and water, and in order to protect them or to prevent these reactions, they are stored in kerosene. Can you store lemon pickle in the aluminum utensil? Explain. The answer is no. We cannot store lemon pickle in aluminum utensil. The reason is that aluminum is a metal, whereas lemon contains acid, and as we have already discussed, metals react with acid, producing the metal salt and hydrogen. This hydrogen gas can spoil the pickle and make it not fit for eating. For this reason, you cannot store lemon pickle in an aluminum utensil. Next is a match the following question. Here in column 1 we have got certain substances, and in column 2 we have got certain uses, so we have to match the substance to the respective uses. Number 1, gold. Gold is used to make jewelry, so gold matches to jewelry, so jewelry for number 1. Number 2, iron. Iron is used to make machinery, so near the machinery I write number 2. Number 3, aluminium. Aluminium is used to wrap food, so I write number 3 near wrapping food. Number 4, carbon. Carbon is used as a fuel, so there I write number 4. Number 5, copper. Copper is used in electric wire, number 5. Number 6 is mercury, which is used in thermometers, so there goes number 6. There our matching is done. What happens when dilute sulfuric acid is poured on a copper plate? No reaction happens when dilute sulfuric acid comes in contact with copper. Copper does not react with dilute acids, but remember that copper does react with concentrated sulfuric acid. Here the answer is no reaction. What happens when iron nails are placed in copper sulfate solution? Iron is more reactive than copper in the copper sulfate solution, so iron displaces copper. A displacement reaction happens. Iron displaces copper according to this equation. So when iron is placed in copper sulfate solution, iron plus copper sulfate gives you iron sulfate plus copper. So iron displaces copper and becomes iron sulfate, and the displaced copper is deposited separately. So the products are iron sulfate and copper. Saloni took a piece of burning charcoal and collected the gas evolved in a test tube. How will she find the nature of the gas? Finding out the nature of the gas means testing if it is acidic or basic in nature. For this, first she has to add a few drops of water into the test tube containing the gas and shake it well to make the solution. Then this solution should be tested to be acidic or basic, that is using blue litmus paper and red litmus paper. But it has already been mentioned that the gas is collected by burning charcoal, so we can infer that it is carbon dioxide gas. So carbon dioxide gas is basically acidic in nature, and when she tests she will find out that it turns blue litmus to red. The test indicated by the solution will be blue litmus to red, which means that it is acidic in nature. This is a continuation of the same question. Write down the word equations of all the reactions taking place in this process. So the first reaction happening is the burning of the charcoal. So when charcoal is burnt, the reaction happening is carbon reacts with oxygen producing carbon dioxide. So this is the equation for that. Carbon plus oxygen gives carbon dioxide. Okay, and there is one more reaction happening. That reaction is when you add water into the test tube. When water is added to the test tube, The carbon dioxide gas, which is present in the test tube, reacts with water, producing carbonic acid. This is how it happens. Carbon dioxide plus water, CO2 plus H2O, gives carbonic acid, that is H2CO3. And this acid makes the solution acidic in nature and turns the blue litmus to red. That's how you got that result. One day, Rita went to a jeweler's shop with her mother. Her mother gave an old gold jewelry to the goldsmith to polish. Next day, when they brought the jewelry back, they found that there was a slight loss in its weight. Can you suggest a reason for the loss in weight? Okay, the loss in weight is because of the method used for polishing. When the goldsmith polishes the jewelry, he does it by dipping the jewelry in an acidic solution called aqua regia. This solution contains two acids, hydrochloric acid and nitric acid. So we have already studied that when metal comes in contact with acid, a reaction happens. Okay, so when the gold jewelry, which is a metal, comes in contact with this acidic solution, the outer layer of the gold jewelry gets dissolved and the inner shiny layer is exhibited. That's how the gold looks shinier now, but because the outer layer was dissolved, there will be a slight loss in weight. Okay, now time for some extra questions. Name the following. The metal which is the best conductor of heat and electricity? Silver. Metal oxides are dash in nature, acidic or basic? Basic in nature. Non-metal oxides are acidic in nature. Since metals produce ringing sounds, they are said to be, that sound producing property is known as sonorous. The hardest non-metal is diamond. Non-metals are usually soft, but diamond is hard. The only non-metal that can conduct electricity is graphite. Usually non-metals are poor conductors, but graphite conducts electricity. The non-metal that is lustrous, iodine. Non-metals are usually not shiny, not lustrous, but iodine is lustrous. The non-metal that catches fire on exposure to air, phosphorus. We have already mentioned this. Phosphorus is very reactive and it is stored in water. The pop sound indicates the presence of which gas? Hydrogen. Name two soft metals that can be cut with a knife. Sodium and potassium. Usually metals are hard, but sodium and potassium are soft metals. Name a liquid metal, that is mercury. Name a liquid non-metal, bromine. Now you have to give reasons for the following. Silver is used in making mirrors. Silver is used to make mirrors because it has the ability to reflect light. Metals are used for making bells. Metals are sonorous, means they can make ringing sound. That's why they are used for making bells. We can't use pure gold to make jewelry. Why? Because pure gold is very soft. It's not malleable or ductile. It's very soft, so it can't be used to make jewelry. Aluminium is used to make electrical wire. Why? Because aluminium is a good conductor, and secondly, aluminium is ductile. Again, give reasons for the following. A white powdery ash is produced when magnesium ribbon is burnt. Burning means reaction with oxygen. So when magnesium ribbon is burnt, magnesium reacts with oxygen. Magnesium plus oxygen, and this reaction gives magnesium oxide, the product, which has the texture of a powdery ash. That's why you are getting a white powdery ash when magnesium is burnt. Phosphorus is stored in water. What is the reason? Phosphorus is a very reactive nonmetal. It easily catches fire when exposed to air. In order to prevent this, it is stored in water. What happens when copper is exposed to moist air for a long time? Write the chemical equation also. When copper is exposed to moist air for a long time, a dull green coating appears on its surface. This green coating is a mixture of two compounds, that is copper hydroxide and copper carbonate. So copper reacts with moist air and becomes copper hydroxide and copper carbonate on the surface. This is the reaction. Cu means copper, and water plus carbon dioxide plus oxygen indicates moist air. Water, carbon dioxide and oxygen from moist air reacts with the copper and becomes the products copper hydroxide and copper carbonate, which together produces the green coating over the copper. Please like, share and subscribe for more videos. Press the bell icon to get the notifications when new videos are getting uploaded. Thank you.